Hello to everyone. I'm your host Ilaha, and today we will deep dive into the most critical topic of today's media landscape: media literacy in the digital age. My guest is one of the professionals of this field, Pamela. Samia. Welcome to our podcast. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
I'm happy to be here. I've been in this industry for the past 38 years and 11 of those years as a reporter. And the rest being an editor. I'm with the Philippine News Agency. Philippine News Agency is the lone news online based news service of our country. So I've been with PNA for the past 4 years. So meaning before I've been with the private sector.
Mhm.
Now I'm with the government state media.
Today, we will discuss the most critical topic: media literacy in the age of digitalization. And I have several questions to you. Every person today scrolling down through the social media, and we don't know if they are just thinking or realizing what they see online. I will start my first question. Can you share a personal experience or one from journalism field where you encountered AI generated content, and how did it affect your industry and work?
Fortunately, we haven't encountered any problems with AI. Although in my country, we do have problems with AI, particularly the deepfakes, the one using, the face, but not and imitating the voice of celebrities. In my country, we have the government plans to totally ban online gaming, but now there are commercials, prevalent commercials where promoting online gaming. They said this is legal online gaming because they are using the faces of our celebrities. But these commercials or ads are actually not them promoting online gaming since the government is will be banning all online gaming. So it's one of the problems. It does affect our office because sometimes we have to learn, we have to decipher where who are the creators, why do they create it, how do people perceive this, because it can actually affect, maybe someday it will affect our industry, it will affect my office, the PNA.
Such a great experience. Thank you so much for sharing. With my second question, we will deep dive more about this topic. How do you ensure that the provided information by you is accurate and in the age of digital manipulation?
Okay, the problem today is that reporters, they do depend or rely too much on live streaming when they cover reports, or they rely on press statement being issued by departments, or we call it departments. I think here you call it organizations by the government.
Yes.
So for in the Philippines, you call it departments, like the Department of Health, Department of Education. Most of the reporters in the Philippines, I'm not saying all, but it has been a practice, especially after COVID or during COVID, that these reporters, they rely on press statement or press releases, or they don't go to press conferences, they don't do face to face interview anymore. They usually rely on interviewing their sources through Viber or Messenger or email. I think this is a problem because for us at the PNA News, Philippine News Agency, I require my reporter to be at the site of the press con, because there you can actually hear what the source is saying. So there will be no possibility that they will be feeding you misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation. And by the way, there's a big difference between disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation. So I'm not saying that because there are sometimes you get press releases that are not actually being issued by the department. So this is already a disinformation. So if the reporter will just rely on the press releases without even trying to interview the source of the press release, then there can be a problem. So in our media outlet, I ask the reporters to always to use the press release or the press statement only as a reference or a guide. So they have to interview, getting the information or the news from the sources, from the people being quoted, so we know that it's a legitimate press release. It is a legitimate news. So I think it's one of our ways to prevent, being victimized by disinformation, misinformation.
Thank you so much. It was very good informative speech. And I will have another question. What ethical guidelines do you follow when dealing with digital manipulation or AI generated content?
To tell you the truth, we don't until now we don't choose AI in our office. We know AI, it's getting popular. It's inevitable for you not to embrace AI. Maybe someday we're going to embrace the use of AI, but we're not going to use it for news production or news writing or news reporting. We're just going to use it as a tool to gather data. But even if we gather data, we'll have to fact check. We still have to double check all the information, being produced by AI. For us, AI is a tool, but I'm still counting on the human skills. Human skills will be the core, is still the core of our media outfit. We believe that technology is such a big help, but I'm still counting on the skills, on the perseverance, and of course the passion of my reporters and my editors in getting the accurate story, the credible stories.
I also have the same point with you. I think also the AI cannot replace people completely.
Yes, I mean, people are worried about someday they will be losing their job. All this dystopian perception, it's all gloomy. I mean, technology is such a big help. Before, okay, sorry, but when I was a reporter, we really have to go to press conferences.
Yeah.
If there's an accident, we have to go to the site, take pictures, um, interview people, witnesses, interview the officials. But now, reporters just get it from where? Sometimes TikTok, sometimes uh, press releases, sometimes Facebook. I mean, these are the problems that we face because we're not going back to the traditional way of coverage. I think going back to the traditional way of coverage is one way of protecting media outfit from being, from disinformation and being manipulated or from misinformation.
I think also emotional intelligence is very important in report.
Yes, EO. I mean, if a reporter has empathy,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
AI can never, express empathy. But if a reporter has an empathy, he will know that this story is much more than an accident story, or it's much more than a story about a crime or a police story. If you have empathy, you will know that these people might have problems, or the reason why the event took place is because there's a behind story. So if a reporter has, like you say, EQ, if the reporter has empathy, or even the editor, that will be a bigger story because it's a more positive story than a negative story. For me and for our for our media outfit, since we're working for the government, our mandate is to promote the programs that will benefit the people. So for us, empathy empathy is needed.
A great discussion. I am going to have my last question to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will be also very interesting for our audience.
Mm-hmm.
What can the public do to combat the spread of disinformation and digital deep fakes
Mm-hmm.
and support ethical journalism? And what are your final thoughts and advice about this topic?
Right now, media literacy in my country is really being promoted. I think the media literacy should not only cover students, it should also cover reporters, editors, elderly, mainly the public, the reading public, those who just share information. Because I think when if they will know media literacy, or they will be media literate people, the population can actually help the government, because it will strengthen our democracy, because they can actively engage in, in the way the government is operating. They can actually, they know what is the negative or positive way, or they can actually uh, decipher. They can actually discriminate what is false, what is true. Media literacy is not only one way of combating disinformation, misinformation. It is also one way of, like you said, um, encouraging their empathy. And it's also one way of strengthening our democracy, because readers can help the government by being positive, by knowing the truth. Like what the one of the lecturers said earlier, we should be truth defenders.
Thank you for joining us. It was great discussion. Thank you for your sharing thoughts about information. Dear ladies and gentlemen, media literacy isn't just trend. Everyone should realize what they see is online. See you on our next Shusha Global Media Forum.